Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mooner3D and today is video update number 2 for the Mark III Iron Man suit. For this video, we are talking about the chest and back pieces that I have so far, as well as the hands. I'm also going to talk a little bit more about how I'm making sure things are sized correctly for me, and I'm going to show how I fuse parts together as well. Once again, where this is an update video, I won't be going into full detail on everything that I've done so far. If you guys want me to talk a little bit more about something in the next video, or create a dedicated video to something to really explain my whole process for something, please let me know in the comments and I will make sure to do that for you guys. Before we get started, I want to thank you guys for reaching 25 subscribers. Now that might not sound like a lot to you, but it is definitely a lot for me. It's really awesome to know that actually at this point, there are more than 25 of you that enjoy my videos and want to see more. The whole point of this is to have fun building whatever you want and to know that you can build whatever you want. And with that, again, thank you guys so very much. Let's keep building some cool stuff together. Now let's get into everything that's happened within the last week. So everything printed well enough, as you can see with the time lapses here. There are a few things that I had to reprint because I had things oriented wrong, and there were a few spots that weren't being supported correctly, so I had to go in and manually paint some supports to really make sure that everything was being held together very well and wasn't going to be prone to breaking and falling apart and ultimately causing the print to fail. With all the files for this entire print, everything, once it's printed, falls together into their corresponding spots very easily. But before we move on, you might have noticed with the chest details here that I haven't fused it together. So let's go fuse it. So I recommend having 3 different things when you are fusing. You will, of course, need the soldering iron here, a respirator mask, and a pretty well ventilated area because you are going to be working with a lot of fumes when you're burning and melting this plastic. Now that we've got our print here, we are ready to piece it together and get it all fused. This is another reason why I recommend adding connectors when you are splitting projects up in the Orca slicer. You can add these and it automatically makes a corresponding hole to piece those together. Now that it's connected and oriented correctly, where all I have to do is just press this together and we're ready to fuse. And my method for fusing is basically just creating a little X on your print here. With the soldering iron nice and hot, we're gonna take print here and I'm just going to press an X into the print. And you want to make sure you're careful that you don't punch through all of the plastic here, but then all of that plastic that kind of gets pushed out when I draw that X, I'm just going to kind of push back in to there. And it's likely going to create a little bit of a pocket. We'll clean that up a little bit later. And another thing you can use is this electric air duster that I use for fusing. Once that's nice and hot and I've got it all fused, you can cool it down pretty rapidly with one of these. And now that's fused together, I can even let go. So I'm just going to do the X pattern all the way down here, and then we'll get everything all cleaned up. And with that, we have our print all fused together and it's good to go. I recommend for these prints only doing it on the inside. That way the front, where everybody else is going to be able to see it, is going to be much easier to clean up. All I have to do is just fill in this gap just a little bit, sand it down, rather than having to fill it in, really sand things down and get this to look nice. I could leave this just like this, where nobody else is going to see it. I don't really mind if it looks like this, but I want to show you guys just in case you want to add a little bit more filament to make it nice and smooth and give it a little extra strength because there's going to be more plastic holding it together ultimately. And to fill in those fused spots, I just take a spool of some filament that I have left over And I take a small little piece of filament like this, and I just melt that filament over those spots and smooth it out as best as I can here. And you want to melt that down enough that it's able to kind of sink down into those spots. And there you have it. A fused section, now making this one solid piece that has a bit of extra plastic, really holding that all together. And for this back plate, as you can see, I split it up into 4 separate pieces here. I am going to need to fill in a little bit more on the gaps here and sand a lot of stuff down to make this look like one solid piece. But with that, let's talk about these magnets. Now, these magnets are pretty good. They allow things to snap into place very nicely, but even the slightest bump or nudge causes this to fall right off. And especially for something like this, having it on, snaps into place, but the minute I let go and do any kind of movement at all, it falls right off. So for me, where I'm actually planning on putting this on and moving around in it, that's not good. Luckily, I think I have a pretty good idea that I'm going to try to use here in the next couple of weeks. I think I'm just going to put some Velcro underneath here on this section, and then underneath here on this section, and really hold that together. Might even add a little bit of extra cushion to make the whole thing more comfortable. But these magnets are not enough, so just be prepared to either use different magnets or use Velcro or some kind of clip system. So moving on to the hands here, the only thing I've really decided to do this week for the hands is to use some elastic bands on the inside. You can see where I've glued a few different things on the inside here, trying to test out the different elastic bands that I have. I have some pretty thick ones that I am going to use that allow just enough flex to be able to put the glove on, but then it snaps back into place when I need, and it allows just a little bit of movement when I flex my hand backwards. I don't want to only be limited to having my hand pretty much straight out. I want it to be able to flex back and turn on the repulsors here, which brings me to the wiring for this hand. I have a pretty good system figured out, I think, with an LED panel on the inside of the glove here, and then a switch that is going to be activated whenever I flex the hand back. I think this panel should be able to hit this switch, and it's a little bit of a longer switch that can be pressed from multiple directions. So I think with this, when it flexes back and hits the arm, that it should be able to hit that switch. I'm going to be working on that this week, so stay tuned for that. I have a thumb. That's all the fingers that I have right now that have the elastic band. I wanted to make sure this was going to work, but this should work really well when glued to the inside of the glove. It allows a lot of flex and it snaps that finger right back into its position. I need to sand this down a little bit more and fill in some spots, but I just put super glue on the inside of there along with this smaller elastic band. That should work just fine. Also, I decided to get rid of the hinges on these fingers. I ended up not really liking them. They're nice at first, but as far as having a lot of movement with the glove and being able to fully close my fingers, I ended up needing to get rid of those hinges. The biggest thing with this is I have the ability to take the tips of the fingers off if I ever need to. And that is about everything that I have done within this last week. A lot of it was just kind of figuring out whether things were going to work or not. But I want to talk about how I've been sizing everything. So the only way that I have been sizing everything is in the Orca slicer here. And honestly, it's as simple as taking the little measure tool here and selecting certain points on the model here and making sure that that is going to fit. And to make sure it fits, I just take a little measuring tape like this and measure. When it comes to sizing everything for me, I've still been printing at 100% scale. Everything that I have measured in the Orca slicer makes me feel confident enough that it's going to fit perfectly. Like I said, I do think there are a few things I'm going to have to scale down, but for the most part, that's how I scale everything and make sure it's going to fit me. Hopefully that helps you as well. There's a lot of different ways to scale, and that's my method. And that is everything today for the Mark III suit. Like I said, a lot of it has just been messing around with certain things to make sure they're going to work. I have everything I need now to get all of the lights done. So that's going to be for the chest and just the right hand for now. I'm going to get the left arm printed eventually as well. But the lights should be set up next week. And then the motorization is right after that. I'm going to be working on all of the shoulder motorization pieces and the forearm missile motorization. My plan is to have everything wired and motorized and just all of the electronics figured out within the next month. And then the last month of July is going to be polishing everything up, really getting all the wires and electronics organized, and of course, getting everything painted. And with that, that is the end of part 2 for this Iron Man Mark III build series. If you guys liked the video, make sure to hit that like button and comment with any questions you guys have or anything else you want to see or go into more detail about. And to keep joining me on this build series and eventually see me do more of all this stuff as well, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next week.